guns. Instead of healthcare, there's bullets for everyone. Everything fucking sucks, I hate it here. Everything fucking sucks, I hate it here. Everything fucking sucks, I fucking hate it
My friend called me on the phone, which was already pretty annoying. I said, "Hey, what do you want?" He said, "Dude, my car is stuck. I'm pulled over on the side of the road. I've got a flat tire, I'm low on gas, and my phone's about to die." I said, "You think that's bad? How do you think I feel? I'm the one listening to all your problems right now." 1 minute ago, I was taking a nap. Then I heard the phone, so I answered the phone, and well, you know the rest.
So how do you think that I feel? How do you think that I feel? How do you think that I feel? Do you care about how I feel now? Just think about how I feel for once.
Anyway, after that, his phone died, so we got disconnected. I don't know whatever happened. I never heard from him again.
He's dead.
Later that day, my boss called me on the phone. I saw it was her, so I tried to send it to voicemail, but she kept calling back. So I answered and said, "Hey boss, what's up?" She said, "I'm understaffed because nobody wants to work anymore." I said, "You think that's bad? How do you think I feel? I spent my whole life trying to be an artist and I don't even have health insurance."
How do you think that I feel? How do you think that I feel? How do you think that I feel? Do you care about how I feel now? Just think about how I feel for once.
Then later on, I was at therapy. My therapist asked, "How do you feel today?" And I said, "I'd rather not talk about it."
Just think about how I feel for once. I think I have been having doubts, but I'm still not really sure. I don't think I can trust my brain, so what the hell is it for? I never forget a face, well not on purpose anyway. One time I read that you should not believe everything that you read, so now I don't know what to think. And I'm still deciding if I can make up my mind. I know I'll probably have second thoughts when I finally figure it out.
Amazing. Welcome, everyone, to Comedy Coffee. It is Kelly Zemnickis here. Let me spotlight myself. We've got this beautiful, beautiful background going on, designed by Athena Rodriguez. Everyone, a California-based designer and comic. I'm Kelly Zemnickis. Welcome to Comedy Coffee. I'm just going to do a little coffee cheers to you there. This is our KO Comedy debut, everybody. I'm all aflutter. Very excited. We've been doing this show now for about 4 years. I say we. I'm a one-man band. I don't know why I refer to myself in the multiple person when I talk about it. It's just been me. I've been doing this for 4 years, everyone, on different social media streams, but I'm really, really happy to be here. So hello if you're watching on Twitch, hello on YouTube. If you want to come and join in on the Zoom, you just have to go to kocomedy.com. You'll get the link. You'll get the link to all the shows. Everything's free, which is fantastic. We do, on occasion, say, hey, if you feel like tipping, you can do that too. The Venmo info, there's PayPal. It should be on the website, or if Annie wants to bring it up on the screen, if that is cool, because I can't remember that part. But if you want to give us a tip, that would be amazing. Those would be much appreciated. Wherever you are in whatever time zone you are in, you may be watching us while having your breakfast, or maybe it's just after lunch. We're pretty much in the brunch zone here, right in the brunch zone, bringing you a little bit of laughter on your Sunday. I am coming to you from Toronto, Canada. That background behind me, I didn't paint my windows white. There is a massive snowstorm in Toronto. And I'm quite high up in my building, and I feel like the snow is about matching the level of my building. There is so much snow here. We are nearing in Toronto, I think we're getting close to 15 inches, which is around, I think, like the 20 centimeter. It's just bonkers. I'm a woman who's 5'3". If I walked out of my door right now, you wouldn't see me. I would just blend into a snowbank is what would happen. But I love doing this show on a Sunday because it gets my comedian friends to stretch their comedy legs a little bit. Maybe they've got a show tonight or a show in a couple of days. They want to work on something. This is a great place to do that. And as I always tell viewers who have seen Comedy Coffee, much like coffee brews, you may see some comedy today. That's a bit too much of an espresso for you at this hour. It's like, whoa, it's a little strong. You may get a little bit more of a latte, a chai latte, a macchiato, who knows? But there's all kinds of comedy for you today, just like there is all kinds of coffee. And you don't even have to be drinking a coffee while watching Comedy Coffee. It could be liquor. You don't know what's in here. This could just be Bailey's. You have no idea. It doesn't matter. It's my show. And you won't know what's in that cup. It's coffee today. Today, I actually did make a coffee. I rarely do. I do have my container of vodka on standby. So fine. Fine, everybody. Jinda here in the Zoom room. If you want to join us in the Zoom, not only can you laugh along with us and share whatever thoughts you have, you also get the menagerie of penis references that we get here in the Zoom. It's my favorite thing about doing this. Jinda, you are the best, and I love what you provide to the Zoom chat. For those watching here in the Zoom, we would love for you to turn on your mics, turn on your cameras, if you are able. If you're not and you just want to listen while you go about whatever you're doing over the next hour, that is great too. At the very bottom of your screen, you'll see the little react button. You can engage with us by throwing up hearts and laugh emojis, thumbs up. Hopefully no tears. Hopefully no tears, but no sad tears. We want happy tears here at Comedy Coffee, indeed. And of course, if you're watching on Twitch, you get the benefit of Laughing Larry, our AI comedy host. Benefit, because we were talking before the show. I mentioned that I think it would be great if Laughing Larry released an album of standards a la William Shatner. I think that would be fantastic. And we had some folks in the chat mention that Call Me Maybe might be a good tune. I would love to hear Laughing Larry's version of Footloose. Really would. Video Killed the Radio Star feels like a bit too on the nose. Or Not Like Us. Why shouldn't he do a Kendrick rendition? A rendition of the Kendrick Lamar song. Did everybody see the SNL Homecoming concert? Will and Anna doing their teacher characters. It's on YouTube. Watch it after, but they do their school teacher version of Not Like Us. It's fantastic. It is so good. But definitely watch it after this. I think that's about everything, all the housekeeping stuff to remind you about. I've got 3 comics joining me today from all over the place. This is the best part about doing online comedy, I would say. Not only has my comedy circle grown during the past 5 years, but if I actually did this show and brought everybody in, that would cost me a lot in airplane tickets. So this makes it affordable. I get to gather with my friends. We get to have a laugh. And we are very glad that you are all here in the Zoom. Got Wheel of Coffee penis. Oh, it's just great. I love this. Best. We're going to have a darn fun time today. And hopefully I'll introduce you to some new comedy favorites. Do give them a follow. You're going to see their socials come up before they start their set. So definitely give them a follow on social media, not in person, because that's just creepy. So don't do that. Also be very hard in Toronto. You just blend into a snowbank right now. Everybody are snowmen. Everyone in snowmen. Our first guest, though, we're starting off in Toronto, in the GTA area, with a fellow Canadian comic. I am so glad she is here, making her KO debut, just like Comedy Coffee. Please give it up for the very funny Kendall LaBella. Yay!
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's true. I'm so excited to be here. It's my first official Zoom show. I've done Kelly's Zoom open mic, but I'm honored to be here with KO Comedy. So thanks everyone for joining in. Yep, it's very snowy in downtown Toronto. It's and guys, the stereotype is true. I get why people outside of Toronto don't like Toronto. We've got horrible traffic, horrible weather, and Drake. So I feel yeah. So a bit about me. I am, guys, I'm straight trash. Okay. Yes, straight trash, but also an ally. All right. That's right. And normally when I tell people this, I do expect the whole audience to burst into applause, right? Straight trash, the heterosexual woman making it about her. Yes. Thank you. We're all up to speed. That's great. I actually, I've only been doing comedy for about 1.5 years, but I have been told that I am so brave. Yes, so brave to do stand-up comedy, which, that is crazy to me because that is the exact thing that I tell male comics starting a podcast. So brave, right? Another voice for the diaspora. I love that. Yeah. And I believe I'm pretty sure this is I'm okay to curse here, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So I do have a question. I guess a little bit rhetorical for this, but is it just me, or is being in a long-term relationship with a man kind of like playing that game Fuck, Marry, Kill? Only the answer is the same for all 3. It's him. I don't know. I can't gauge, but I sometimes I feel like there's some men who kind of tighten up with them, and I can tell they've not been in long-term relationships with men before. Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit about me. I'm the eldest of 3, raised by a single mom, and I'm sure you're all on your feet giving a standing ovation for that one, and I will let her know. Okay. But being raised by a single mom in the 90s, it meant watching a lot of late afternoon, early evening TV, which, I learned a lot from it. For example, one of the shows I like to watch was Gilmore Girls. Love me some Gilmore Girls. Left an impression. I learned that my mom should have stopped after me. Yeah. Which, at this point, I could have been going to Yale or Harvard, my pick. My mom, she could have opened up a boutique inn. Just one issue though. My grandparents, they invested in IBM instead of Google. Yeah, wrong move, wrong move. So it was not to be, unfortunately. But I got two siblings out of it, so I guess it all comes out in the wash. Another show that I really like to watch was House, although I'm actually the worst at the doctor because I think I watched too much House growing up. Yeah, I'll explain. I learned a lot, especially one episode. One episode in particular that stood out, there was a patient that was bleeding from his eyes. That immediately grabbed House's attention in that episode. He recognized him from a previous brain operation where the operation resulted in something called alien hand syndrome. And that's when the patient's alien hands, they act out of the ordinary. So they investigate this guy who's come in with these bleeding eyes. Bingo, bango, they deduce there was a toxic ingredient in his deodorant. Turns out this guy could have avoided that brain surgery altogether. All right. So I learned things. This is a true story. Well, actually, in general, my general rule of thumb is when I go into the doctor, we here in Canada, like our healthcare is free, but it's strained. So there's only, you only get like 15 minutes, right? So half of the time you're just sitting there on a crinkly piece of paper waiting for the doctor. But when I go in, I want to be concise. I give the doctor the facts that they need to diagnose, but also this is where House maybe has sabotaged me. I intend to include some information that I don't think is relevant, but maybe, right? I'm not the professional. It could be the answer to all my issues. So what I do is the last time I went to the doctor, I went to the walk-in clinic and I told them, I'm feeling like trash. I am super congested. My throat is really sore. And all of this started about 4 days ago on Tuesday when I tried a new scent of Irish Spring body wash. Mountain Fresh instead of Original Clean. And much like I'm sure all of you right now, completely indifferent, right? His professional response was, okay. So I need to stop, right? Newsflash, not every family doctor is Gregory House, but long story short, I walked away from that appointment with an antihistamine for allergies instead of an antibiotic for a chest infection. Yes. Cautionary tale. Yeah. And I mean, I probably should know better because I work in healthcare. And that's correct. Everyone stay silent. It's not the one you clap for. Okay? Do you guys remember clapping like at 7 o'clock? What happened, when the start of these Zoom shows all started, back when COVID lockdown happened, people were very enthusiastic, out on balconies, 7 o'clock, cheering, banging pots and pans. And guys, a few weeks later, it got a little bit more sparse. And then a couple months down the line, it's just your one neighbor Agnes out there making a racket and getting noise complaints. Really changed, really changed. But no, that's fair, guys. I'm not a healthcare hero. We've got those healthcare heroes, but myself, I am more of a keyboard warrior, right? Just saving lives, one email at a time. That's me. Yeah. And so doing project management with the in the healthcare services in Canada, it has pulled back the curtain on everything. And truth be told, things are grim. America, no comments. My thoughts are with you. But for anyone here in Canada, I do have one solid piece of advice that you can leave here today with this. If anything, that solid piece of advice I give to you is don't get sick. Don't do it. Won't be good. Just don't do it. I know US is like, we know. That's crazy. Yeah, I know. Speaking of systemic failure, I've got a stepdad. And he recently displayed some peak white male audacity. He fired his family doctor because he didn't get his sense of humor. Yes. Uh, Sir, I love you, but we are in a healthcare crisis. You could get stage 4 cancer because it took half a year to get this appointment. So, like, stop worrying about the humor, start worrying about the tumors, you know? You need to find out, like, if your prostate's enlarged, not if he gets your vibe. So, I was really trying to imagine, though, what happened, you know? What was it that, now, mind you, he and I, we have different senses of humor. Okay, so I was trying to envision what happened with this appointment at the doctor. Did the doctor just, like, walk into the exam room and there's my stepdad, different senses of humor, okay? There's my stepdad on all fours, up on the table, ass up, being like, I'm all ready for ya. No, it was not that, okay? No, actually. It was just, he told me there was no meeting of the minds. You know, their personalities didn't mesh. Guys, listen, the only reason you should be showcasing your personality at the doctor is if you're concerned there's more than one of them, right? Simple, guys. My stepdad, he was just there to make a pal, you know? Like every 6 months, pop in for a quick gab sesh. Which, you know, to be fair, I don't know about you guys, but at this point in my life is exactly what many of my friendships have become. Like, as I've gotten older, a hangout requires months of advance notice. And, like, gosh forbid anyone has to cancel, right? Bingo, bango. It's almost a year later, and now one of them's got a kid. That's so I can empathize. And when we finally meet up, we too are sharing intimate details about our lives, only we're doing it over a dinner, not examination table, right? Like, and it's voluntary attendance, not a captured audience. A little bit of nuance there. Man, guys, firing your doctor because they don't get your sense of humor is like firing your driving instructor because they don't get your taste in music, you know? Like you're driving down the road, just blasting the Dave Matthews Band, and then this guy beside you has the nerve to tell you to turn it down. No, sir, you are a shitty driver. His life is in your hands. You need to concentrate, right? Like, honestly, stepdad, just cut the crap. The doctor wants to know if you need to get tested for colorectal cancer. Like asking him, do you have any abnormal growths in your rectum? And he's going, well, just one, but it Larry's curves to the left. Is that abnormal? Like, geez, we need to stop. You know, firing your family doctor because they don't get your sense of humor, like firing your driving instructor. It's also like firing your financial advisor because they don't get your expensive taste in clothes and collectibles. Fun fact, my stepdad's done all three. Anyway, that's my time. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
I say, give it up for Kendall, everybody. Oh, I love it. Definitely give Kendall a follow on socials. What was that? It's not the humor, it's the tumor. That needs to be on a sticker, Kendall. That is so true. I mean, I'm mighty grateful that we don't have, you know, the majority of costs that Americans have when we go see a doctor. But you speak the truth. The wait times here are batshit. They're crazy, friends. They're crazy. But I love that. I love that. I wanted to remind everybody, if you're not here in the Zoom, if you do want to send a tip or two to us, financial friends, not on how to do comedy different. Don't send those kind of tips. But if you want to, on Venmo, it is KO Comedy. Or if you want to use PayPal, which you have to in Canada because we don't have the Venmo here. It is, you can find KO in PayPal at kocomedyshows@gmail.com. So there you is, friends. There you is. Just to remind everybody, this is my actual apartment, and that bright light, again, the snow, friends, just a fuck ton of snow here. Despite this background, though, you may think, and you are wrong, nope, that's not a vision board, everyone. I know I have strong vision board energy. I look like a girl who would love crafting. Fucking hate it. I can't stand it. I can't. It is weird. It is weird. I don't think I hate anything more than knitting. It is really strange. And I've been trying to figure it out, you know, like, was I a sheep in a past life? Like, what's the deal? I have spent so many dollars in therapy trying to come to terms with this. I don't know what is wrong with me. Actually, I'll bring this up before we get to our next guest. You know what? I think I might know. Actually, yeah. So when I was 10, I bought like my first purchase. I was like, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 10 or something like that. And I bought a like a needlepoint kit at a mall in Florida. And I remember my mom explaining to me that the amount of money I had was going to be like gone. She said, what you want to buy and the amount of money you have, that's going to be like everything. And I just like agreed and I nodded because I was a kid who agreed and nodded, you know, when adults told me things, you know, I was just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. And so I gave my money to the person at the cash and then they gave me the needlepoint kit. And then I just stood there and I dead-eyed him. And I just expected him to also hand me my money back as well, because I thought we were playing, everyone. This is how it works with my friends. You know, I get my thing and my money back, and we just stood there. And my mom was like, Kelly, we have to go. And I was like, but I want, you know, it just drags me out of the store. And I was pissed. Okay. So we ended up in the middle of this mall in Tampa. And I started screaming, I want my money. Which when you're like 8 and you're screaming sounds a hell of a lot like I want my mommy. And this then resulted in my mother yelling at other parents saying, no, I swear she's my daughter. It got like really ugly. And then like out of nowhere, these ninjas just appeared from the craft store and just started like stabbing people with needles, you know, which no one saw coming because ninjas, you know, kidding. The ninja part's fake. But for a second, you thought maybe that happened. It is Florida, after all, Kelly. No. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't like crafting. Breakthrough, everyone. I think I just had a breakthrough. This is good. I hope my therapist is watching. We'll talk about it next week. Oh, God. I still have that needlepoint kit. I do. I'll try to find it before the end of the show and show it to you. Just hangs on the wall, taunting me. Friends, our next guest, a fellow Canadian who now lives in the States. So he's one of yours now, America. But he'll always be one of ours too. Delightful comic. I just met him recently at another online mic, and I had to invite him on. He is great. Please give it up for Paul Artali.
So I was born with a rare genetic condition. It's called instant brand recognition. You all have to work hard to get noticed. I just need to put on a t-shirt and go outside. Here's an interesting fact. 55% of the workforce will have a disability by the time they retire. That just puts me ahead of the curve. Having a disability is actually pretty lucrative. Like the other day, I was hanging out at the coffee shop and I was just there chilling. A lady comes by and puts a quarter in my cup. I thought, I'm going to press my luck. So I start to sing Amazing Grace. She comes back, gives me a $10 bill, calls me an inspiration. Because apparently everything I do is inspirational. Like, for example, like just random things will happen. I'll be at the grocery store, for example, and I'll put a case of beer in my cart, and inevitably somebody will come up to me and be like, you're incredible. That's amazing. And I don't know how to respond to that, right? Because I'm just doing me. So I respond now like I've just won the Super Bowl and they're interviewing me on ESPN as to what my methods are. So I'm like, you know, I worked really hard and, you know, I started with 6 packs. I just worked my way up and with a lot of teamwork, if you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, you too can lift beverages into your grocery carts. That's just how I do it. I feel I got to inspire people. I'm inspirational until I do something cool. And then people just don't believe me. Like, for example, I played college football. That's a fact. And I tell people and they treat me like I misspoke. They'll be like, now, son, when you say football, you mean touch football, right? I'm like, have you seen this big gut and like these little dino arms? Like, touch football is not what I was genetically engineered to do. I mean, if you saw me on the football field, I would resemble a T-Rex with a football helmet. That's what I would look like. I get my snark from my parents who were Italian immigrants. So like growing up in an Italian immigrant household, it's like going to a university and all your faculty members are angry Yelp reviewers. Like nothing is good enough, right? Like last month I saw my mom, I brought her some cannoli and she just looked at me and she was like, "Are these authentic cannoli? I have very high standards." I was like, "Ma, I got these at Walmart." Like, Italian pastries aren't their forte. Is my dad. He's the king of false comparisons. I remember I was in 11th grade. I struggled with math, but I really wanted to do well. I wanted to achieve something for myself. And so I did extra credit assignments and I did extra tutoring and I met with the teacher when I needed to. And I got the final exam and I got a 93 on it. I was so proud. I brought it home to my dad. I was like, "Here, Papa. Here, look, 93. And he was like, "You know your cousin Pepe? Pepe got 100 on his exam." And I had to correct him. "Dad, Pepe is in the 3rd grade. And he didn't score 100 on an exam. He colored a picture of Abraham Lincoln green. He turned our 16th president into a Star Trek character." I love it. People here, I grew up Italian, and they just assume I had delicious food. And they're right. Our food was quite delicious. But when you think like Italian food, you probably think something like a Stanley Tucci special or, God forbid, the Olive Garden. But I'm the son of immigrant farmers. We have dishes that were amazing. But they're kind of rooted in the idea that ingredients are fresh and we use every single part of the animal in our cuisine. Let me give you an example. Like, we use parts of the animal that our parents, having immigrated, are afraid to tell the kids off the bat. I could come downstairs and be like, "Oh, that smells good. What is it, Dad? What's this new dish?" And my dad would just be like, "Eat it. It'll make you strong, make you virile." I'm like, "Okay, Papa, I'll eat it. I don't know why you want me to lose my memory, but I'll try it." And then they wait, and if you like it, then they give you the code name. This is like they got some like Da Vinci Code level secrecy going on. They're like, "Ah, you like it. You like the Baba Ragusa, huh?" I'm like, "Yes, I like the Baba Ragusa, Daddy." And after a couple of years, when they feel they can trust you, they'll tell you what's in it, right? You just be eating it one day, like, "You want to know?" "Yeah, what is this, Dad?" "I'm 27 now. I think I'm due." He's like, "It's the armpit of a goat." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, and to some of you that might sound like really gross, right? But I can tell you, like, it's delicious. You put some goat armpit on some homemade focaccia, a little olive oil, some peppers from my grandfather's garden. It's better than anything Subway can make you. Italians, we're an industrialist people. We're not known for our entrepreneurship that's not mafia related, but it's true. Like, Italians, we invented Uber Eats because when I was a kid, my mom would be making dinner and the phone would ring, and then she would look at me and she'd just nod, and then she would hang up and she would say, "Your aunt wants some of the lasagna I'm making. Go get it. Go bring it to her." And then she would take the lasagna and put it in a reused, old, rewashed metal pie plate, which, by the way, does not protect you from heat the way you think it would. And she would put it in my hand and she'd say, "Go deliver it." And I would walk out the door and go 3 doors down because we all live on the same street, right? And I'd be walking to my aunt with this lasagna scalding my hand, and I'd have to shout as I approach, like, "Paul is approaching with your order," and they would take it, and then they would give me their pie plate because they were premium elite members. So it was a good time. I have a lot of trauma from my Italian upbringing, but I'm happy for my upbringing because, being Italian taught me to like love family. There's nothing better than family. And so when my wife told me that she was pregnant with our first child, I was the one that signed us up for the birthing classes. Now I thought that the classes would be taught in a hospital by a doctor, but instead we ended up at a hot yoga studio taught by a lady named Kyla, who smelled like a patchouli-infused oatmeal raisin cookie. And I remember walking in for the first time, and you know, everyone stops, right? They just look at me, and like I know what they're thinking. Like, I can't wait to see how this guy holds a baby. That's what's going through their heads. But Kyla doesn't say hi, anything. She doesn't say hello. She just walks up to me and she's like, upon the birth of your child, would you be willing to donate the placenta for our medical research? Now, growing up by my father in an Italian household, we know that if people want something you got, you don't give it up for free. I didn't know at the time that a placenta on the market goes for at least $50,000. It's used in products such as skin cream and antibiotics and hamburger helper. There's a lot of uses for the placenta, but at that time I didn't know. I just knew it had value, so I just asked her. I said, Kyla, do I get something like a discount if I give you the placenta? And Kyla said, no. So I just turned to my wife. Put some Tupperware in the overnight bag. We're going to get our placenta to go. And to make sure it's authentic Tupperware, because I have very high standards. I mean, it's just my upbringing. My parents prepared me for life. You know, when you're born with hands like these, people ask you a lot of questions about what happened. And apparently, birth is not a socially acceptable answer. And I remember one day my father sitting me down saying, son, you don't have to justify who you are or what you are to anyone. And if people ask, you can do whatever you want, but I want you to remember one thing, and it's very important. Drunk people and children will believe anything you tell them. So I had fun with it. Like in college, be at the bar, bro would say, hey man, what happened to your arms? And I'm like, I know he had a few. I'd be like, well, we were making sausage with the family and I wasn't paying attention. And I mean, the injury was devastating, but the sausage, oh, era delicioso, right? These days, I'll leave you on this. These days I only tell stories to children, and they have educational merit. I believe it's important to teach acceptance and an important safety lesson to children. So if a child comes up to me and asks what happened to my hands, I will reply, hey kid, you know when the bus driver tells you not to stick your arms out the window? Well, I didn't listen. Twice. Hey kid, you know when your mom is yelling at you for being in the bathroom too long and your fingers are pruning up and she tells you they're going to fall off if you stay in too long? She's not trying to scare you. It's not fake news. That stuff's real. Sometimes I'll be at a restaurant and I'll see a child just refusing to eat their vegetables. And I'll just kind of walk up to them and be like, do you eat your broccoli? I didn't. But that's okay, kid. You're going to be an inspiration. Let me buy you a cup of coffee. I'll show you how it's done. My name is Paul Artelli, and that's been my time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. For Paul, everyone. Oh, I love it. Eat your vegetables, kids. Eat your vegetables.
Got to get the antioxidants in.
Oh, so good. So good. I hope you're all having a good time. I finished my coffee. I've moved on to vodka, everyone.
Yes.
Because it's headliner time. So it's time to booze it up now. Okay. I do hope you are enjoying the show, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or here in the Zoom. We're going to be back again in a couple of weeks. Usually, the way I do this show, it happens on the first Sunday of the month. That didn't happen with this month, but we're going to be back March 2nd. Just so you know, that will be the next show. So join up, kocomedy.com. Get the link to all the shows that are happening. There are so many fantastic shows here during the week. A bit of comedy for all your time zone options. Whole bunch of great folks. A lot of cool after party stuff too that only happens on Zoom. So you definitely want to sign up and get the inside scoops on that. You can hang with folks afterwards. Not me after the show. I have a soup to make after this, which will be vegetable, Paul. Just so you know, will be vegetable. Alrighty, friends, we're going to end it off by heading over to the East Coast, just a little bit east of me here in Toronto, where it is snowing just as much as I think it is here. A great comic, a great friend, someone of whom I met virtually and then in person, and it's so nice to see her when I do. Such a funny gal. Please give it up for your headliner for today's Comedy Coffee, Luz Michelle, everybody.
So good to be here. And, Kelly, you saying that you're going to make soup, like that just warms my heart. Like I can picture all of us being at your house and out of the kindness of your heart, you all made us like this big bucket of soup. Yeah. Like, that's your energy. I love that. It's good to be here. I haven't ever worn a winter hat on a live show or a Zoom show. I didn't have power. We didn't have internet. We didn't have freaking anything 20 minutes ago. And I live in a very old house. So heating it is just a lot of logs on the fire right now. So, and also, it was a lot. I got 2 kids, no internet. They couldn't do anything. They didn't know what to do with themselves. I have an 18-year-old Chihuahua who has Alzheimer's and a husband who's leaving me every day. So when we lose our power, it gets a little chaotic in here. But every comic that was on was hilarious. I thank you for that free therapy. Because what Kendall said, U.S. Insurance, it sucks. It's disgusting. In 1 week, I got denied for mental therapy and physical therapy. And no reason, just the answer is no, you're denied. And then I have to do another shit ton of freaking paperwork. So, this is why I don't quit comedy, because this is the only therapy I get. So... yeah, Jinda, paper penis. Exactly. That is how paperwork feels. It feels like a paper penis. I have to agree with that. But yeah, like Paul said, nothing like family. So yeah, I felt that. That's true. Nothing like family to bring out the worst in you. But that's okay. So let's go over some stuff, right? That's why we're here. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids under 10. And I've been doing a lot of thinking lately because I'm someone who's been in therapy on and off since I was 7, and I'm in my mid-40s now. So, it's a journey, you guys. It's a journey. I like to do stints with my therapist where I stay with her for like 6 months to a year, and then I disappear for 6 months to a year to apply the work. We have to apply what we're going to do. But now I'm denied, so we'll see where that goes. But I've been thinking, like, what's going to happen when my kids are in therapy, right? Like, what's that, experience going to be like when they're sitting, across from a therapist? Like, are they going to share, like, like growing up with my mom? Like she woke up every morning to make us breakfast, and she always made sure we had protein and carbs, and she put them in these really cute bowls and cups, and she always went the extra mile. Or when they want to, do sports, any sport I ever wanted to do in my life, my mother always supported me. She was the loudest one in the crowd. It's like I don't get what their trauma is going to be, and I can't help but not look at that, from a child who grew up with a lot of trauma, because it's like they're growing up in such a cushy life. We live out in Westchester, New York, and everything's a white picket fence, whether you like it or not. So, it's a lot of kindness. Like we're surrounded by kindness, kindness to your friends, kindness to your neighbor, kindness to yourself. And it's like, I get it. There's a part of me that gets it. I'm not a monster, but it's like, when I really think about it, like, where has kindness gotten us? For example, in my kids' school, in this school district, for the spelling bee, the kids get the words ahead of time. Okay. There's no like studying in case these words come up. No, they get the words. And then at the end, everybody gets a participation medal. Like, What? No, no. There's winners and there's losers, and that's it. That's it. Doesn't matter if you participate, okay? You don't get points for writing your name at the X. It's important. Or what else? We have teenagers walking our streets. They think they're tough. They think they're like really shaking shit up. Meanwhile, they're wearing shirts that say hashtag oat milk on them. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's interesting too where I live. I've learned that a lot of parents are obsessed with a band called Fish. I don't know if anyone this afternoon show tonight has heard of this band. Personally, I never did. And you know what? It's okay. I grew up with aggressive hip hop and like, you know, underground rock bands and shit. So no, I didn't. No, not rock bands. It just never rock. Rock just wasn't my genre. Soft rock, any kind of alternative rock. But these parents, like 2 weeks ago, there was a group of moms who went to Mexico, to see Fish. And the husbands have no problem with it because they get together and they go to see Fish. Like, you got to pay attention to these things when you choose to like get married and have kids. So yeah, I downloaded the freaking albums. I got the T-shirts. Like I'm in it. You know, we're going to see Fish. This is what we're doing. Like, yes, I'm going to be a hardcore fan of this. It's great. It's great. You know, as long as you're with a group of people that know the songs, you'll be fine. You know, there's nothing to worry about. I'm also a married woman. I'm sure there's some married people here this afternoon because we'd rather be here than be hanging out with our significant others. I get it. You know, I get it. I do. I had a FaceTime today with my mother-in-law. She's always very interesting. You know, I worry about my mother-in-law because there's a lot going on right now with immigration and deportation. And, you know, she's, you know, 100% Latina, Puerto Rican, you know, and she lives at 123 Cherry Street in Brooklyn, New York. You know, apartment 2C. She goes to Key Food every day about 1:15 in the afternoon to play her numbers. You know, I worry about her. If anyone needs that information again, just let me know. I'll be sure to highlight it a little bit more for you. Her and I have a very interesting relationship. To put it in summary, I have deleted and blocked her on Facebook 4 times. You know, that's where we're at. And I'll always have a friend ask me where they're like, you know, Luz, what are you going to do? Like, when one day you're at a family dinner and your mother-in-law is like, you know, I went on Facebook and I tried to find you and I couldn't. She's like, what are you going to say to her? And I'm like, what am I going to say to her? I'm going to look her straight in her face and I'm going to say, I don't know. I got to check your settings. You know, those things, they're crazy. Who knows? You know, algorithm. I'm sure we're friends. We're definitely friends on Facebook. What are you talking about? Blocking, unfriending nonsense. We're better than that. I'm not, and I'm in my mid-40s. And, you know, what I'm learning is some things won't ever change. They'll just show up in different formats. That's all. And that's good. You have to accept yourself for who you are. I am a married woman still, thank God. It's very not easy to be married to me, and I get it. You know, it's a lot, but I'm fun. You know, that's what keeps me going. But I am with my partner, my matzo con pollo, aka my Jurican, aka my narcissistic unicorn for 14 years now. Amen. Amen. He's a very interesting human being to be with. We're very polar opposites. He's a very disciplined person. He likes things in order. He's a color coordinated person. He's, you know, very smart, like NYU top graduate type shit, you know. But the thing is, he's very aware of who he is. So he's the type of person that like walks around the house like a life coach, always giving a TED talk, you know. Like he'll always be like, you have to do this in order for this to happen so you can be something. Or he'll like always remind you, like, I've done this, I've done that, I've won these awards. People have written about me. You should Google me. So one day after a couple of tequilas, I was like, you know what? I am going to Google him. And you know what I found after a deep dive in a rabbit hole? In 1984, his mother dressed him on Halloween with blackface. Okay? That's what I found when I Googled him. Okay? Mother-in-law is very tricky. Very tricky. But he's also like a really good person. Like he's caring. He's very thoughtful. He's kind. He goes the extra mile for people. Like he's in consulting. So like on Valentine's Day, he got all his clients like little bags with little Hershey kisses in them. You know, gets under my skin. He's so nice. But like any long relationship, whoever you're with, your partner will always find a way to get under your skin, right? There's always something, some kind of like freaking purple nurple that they're gonna throw at you. So, my husband's thing that he loves is whenever we get in an argument, like it could be via email, text message, freaking WhatsApp app, clouds in the sky. I don't care. I like options. He'll always throw in a big word. And like, he knows that I have no idea what this word is. Okay. Now, he might be a straight A student, Dean's List, the whole freaking nine. But you know what? I am a D- student, and I'm a confident D- student because I grew up in a house with a very smart brother that when I came home with a D- or a D+, my mother slapped it on the fridge right next to my brother's A+ and hundreds. Okay. So like, I'm good. I don't need hundreds. I don't need A's. I just need the pass and get the fuck out. Okay. That's always been my attitude towards education. And it's fine. Look where it led me. I'm here with all of you tonight, you know? So follow your dreams, follow your heart. That's the message behind that. But lately, especially in 2025, now we have like options and technology is very different. Now when I'm going to send a response, I write up a rough draft and I will take this draft, copy, paste it, put it in ChatGPT, and I will tell it, make this smart, make this professional, get to the point, throw in big words, okay? I want you to go below the belt, put in your sparkle, be humorous, be witty, be charismatic, be confident. And then I copy, I paste it, I send it to my husband, and I block him. Okay? Okay? That's marriage. These are the things you find yourself doing 14 years in, you know? And it's fun. It's fun. It's all in education tonight. That's all us comedians are doing for you today. We're here to teach you. That's our jobs. So it's been a good, I don't know, we're maybe 6-7 minutes in that I've been talking. And for those that don't know me, there's questions running through your mind. I know, especially my voice. You know, what is that? Like where does a voice like that come from? You know, is she from the inner cities? Is she from LA? Did she grow up where? So, it's important, I've learned, whenever I walk into a new room that I have to tell people my background because people create stories in their head. And 44 years on this planet, there's only been 2 human beings that have ever gotten it. So I was born in Bogota, Colombia. I'm half Colombian, half Native Indian. I'm adopted by 2 Eastern European Jews. And I grew up in a forgotten borough that used to have the second biggest dump in the world that they now call Heroin Island, Staten Island, New York. Now, not a lot of people know Staten Island, New York, and I'm never surprised by that. It's a borough within New York City. It's one of the boroughs. But it's there's a reason it had the second biggest dump in the world. You know, that can kind of summarize it for you, what Staten Island was about. I know I said a lot in one sentence, and yes, it took a lot of therapy to really edit that down. So thank you for the laughter. Appreciate it. There's always questions off of that too. No, I don't speak the Spanish. I am the kind of partner, like I shared, my husband's Puerto Rican. So whenever we travel to anywhere in South America, I don't talk. I nod. I do a lot of nodding. And my husband does all the talking because he's fluent. And yes, I can read from a Torah, and I had a bat mitzvah. I'm a smart kid. These are questions. I just want to, it's important that I get it all cleared up for you. I get it. Another example of Staten Island I can give you guys is growing up, I would always have my friends come over, especially during this kind of weather, like the dead of winter, because my parents had Atari in their room. Mm-hmm. I know, remember 2 lines and a ball on a screen, and we all freaking lost our minds. Like, what's going on? Where is this going? We've gotten to a point in the world where your partner can have sex online with someone and it's considered cheating, and they're not even real. That's how far it's come. That's how far it's come. But I would have my friends always say to me, because my parents had this huge bay window in their room, Luz, like, how do you complain about Staten Island and, make fun of it? Like, look at this view that you wake up to every day. Like, there's mountains outside your window. And I would have to remind them that that was garbage with snow on it. That was our view every winter. And for friends who ever went away for college, they would know they were home from college when you smelled the dump in the dead of the summer. Oh my God, it was horrific. Terrific. And the dump is gone. It's now a national park, open to the public. And the title of the park is Fresh Kills. Swear to God. I swear to God. Fresh Kills. Okay? Pay attention. It's in the writing. So when you go in there and you come out with a disease that you never freaking heard of, just remember the title of where you went. Okay? All right. I got it. What else I got for you guys? I got a lot of shit. So this is a good one. So I started getting into voiceover. I mean, how could I not, right? So it was recommended to me to go see a speech therapist. So I haven't ever done anything like this before, and that kind of stuff makes me uncomfortable because I feel like I'm going to be very judged, So I go in for a session. She has me read a couple of lines, and her feedback afterwards was, so a normal person, when they talk, they say things like, I'm going to the store with her. You say things like, I'm going to the store with her. She's like, you do not pronounce your THs. You substitute them with DAs. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. I know. I grew up in Staten Island. Like, this is how we talk out there. Because I don't believe any therapist can crack my voice, crack this personality behind the voice. It'd be a miracle. So now we move on to the point where she's going to record the volume of my voice, and I have to talk into this big machine. So she's like, the highest score you can get is a 20. So I'm like, all right. She's like, but talk normal. I'm like, okay. So I read this little paragraph, and at the end, she goes, your score is a 14. So right away, I'm like, oh, that's great. Out of 20, it's fantastic. Normal person comes in at 4. 4. Okay? My whisper doesn't even come in at a 4. Okay? I'm not the kind of friend you can tell a secret to in public, or I can tell you a secret to in public. I don't have an inside voice. I don't have a whispering voice. This is it 24/7. Okay? Imagine what I sound like after a bottle of tequila and a can of helium. It's a good time, my friends. It's a good time. You guys have been a lovely audience. I'm going to leave you guys with this. As I shared with you, I'm adopted. And before I tell you the story of how I found out I was adopted, it's very important that you know the story of my adopted mother, Barbara. I want you to picture a woman who's a very sharp dresser, who likes very long, thin cigarettes, very stiff cocktail, and the only time she's happy is when she's alone. Now, that's not who she was, but that was the kind of energy she gave off every day, so loving. So my mother's birth story, she was born in the Bronx, New York, and obviously my grandmother's apartment, because what happened was there was no way my grandmother was making it to the hospital. So she gave birth in the house. So my mother was born on the couch. Now, my mother's whole life has been very cushy, very. Okay, like my mother did her thing, went to high school, graduated, has been taken care of by my father till this day. Very cushy. My aunt was born in the toilet. Okay. And this woman till this day has been clawing her way up the goddamn shitter, like in ways you couldn't believe, like hard knock shit, hard knock life, heartache. Like every time she's gotten back on the horse, like freaking she gets kicked right off. Like it's so important how you come into the world because it will determine your paths for the rest of your life. Like it's crazy, like, look, I'm here with you all today. Like, this is where my birth story, led me. And this has been great. So I thank you guys. Thank you for giving me a therapy session this week, Kelly. We all appreciate it. So thank you, you guys. I'm Luz Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. Give it up for Luz, everybody. Definitely give Luz a follow on the socials. Give all our comics today a follow on social media. You speak the truth about coming into the world, Luz. Absolutely. When my mom went into labor with me, my parents were at home watching a movie, and my dad said, "Can you wait till the credits are finished?"
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom, then firstborn with my folks, 48 hours of labor with this face.
Oh, shit.
48 hours. I was born on an Oscar night. So yeah, movies infuse my world. So there we go.
Stay.
See? Everyone, we got our participation ribbon for today's show. There you go, friends. That's the beauty of doing Zoom shows. You can see around my house. And as promised, everybody, the needlepoint kit that threw me into a tizzy and had my mom beating up other moms in a Florida mall was this. This, everyone. I think this is why I hate crafts. Why do I keep it on my wall to taunt me? I have no idea. That's for me and my therapist to figure out next week. But I do thank you all so much for tuning in here in the Zoom, on Twitch, on YouTube. As I say, our next show is going to be on Sunday, March 2nd, which is Oscar night, actually, everybody, at 2 p.m. Eastern. Conan O'Brien won't be joining us, or maybe he will. Who knows? The world's a weird place. Katie Zane will be headlining that show, and they are out of Chicago, and they are fantastic. Thank you to Annie and everyone here at KO and Comedy Hub. As I say, you can donate if you want to add any tips to the tip jar on Venmo, KO Comedy, PayPal. Just look up kocomedyShows@gmail.com. Have an awesome Sunday. Be kind to each other. We'll see you next month. Bye, everyone.
And we're clear.